You know, I have many, many success stories about significant improvement in students, but if you don't mind, I'd like to share a story about a college student. This one was particularly moving in that this is a man who was going to work at night, going to work during the day and taking my class at night, chemistry. And it was the last class that he needed in the sciences. He was getting an engineering degree, but he needed to have this chemistry class to finish up his degree. And he was working at an aircraft company, working 40 to 50 hours a week. He had a family at home, and he took my class in the summer, and this was about 4 years ago, before I started using the pen. And he failed my class, and I felt really bad. Because when he was in class, he could answer my questions, he was doing fine, and then he'd bomb the test. And we talked about it in class. He'd come up to me afterwards, and he said, well, I just can't study the material until the weekend. There's just not enough hours in the day. I'm too tired. And I said, well, that's part of the problem. We're moving so fast in the summer, and we're covering so much material that by the time we're on the 4th day of the material, you're not getting that material because you weren't able to look at the earlier stuff that builds up. And that's the problem in a chemistry or math class or a physics class, and even a foreign language, is that because it builds on earlier information, you're really in trouble if you have those gaps. So anyway, he failed my class, unfortunately. I don't like to tell these stories where someone has failed, but he shows up in my class the next summer. And then I'm looking at him, I'm like, well, you know, there's 5 other teachers who teach this class. And he goes, yeah, I know, but you're a good teacher. And I'm like, oh, he thinks I'm a good teacher, and I failed him. And I said, listen, let's sit down. Let me find out, what is it that has changed from last summer? Nothing had changed. And so I said, you know, the definition of crazy is doing things the same way and expecting a different outcome. And he goes, I need the money to support my family. I need this degree, this class to get my degree. And that's how I'm going to have to do it again. And so then I realized at this point I had found the pen. And I'd been using it at the high school, but I hadn't been using it at the university. And I said, okay, I'm going to start doing these pen casts. And this is how I want you to do them. So at the end of the week, you start from the first pen cast, and you don't move to the next pen cast until you understand what was in the first pen cast. And you keep doing that, and you move yourself through. Once you're done with that, go to the last one. Well, this guy was like 6'4", like 250 pounds, like this big baby Huey. Last day of class, he came up and hugged me, and he said, I couldn't have done it without you, and he got a B+ in my class. And he earned it. I didn't give him any points, but the pen casts made all the difference in his life. And I am certain that is making those kind of differences in teenagers' lives here at the high school. You know, they tell you stuff, but when you get an adult who's been straddled with that kind of situation, you really get to hear the depth of how you helped them.